Welcome to 5 Minutes with Grey Hair Dave. He has grey hair, he has a grey beard, and he wears glasses like the guy in the artwork. Oh, and the guy in the artwork is better looking. Now here is Grey Hair Dave.
So, how are you folks? Yes, again, it is gray haired. Just as the wonderful people from 11labs.io, the artificial intelligence website where you type in what you want and it gives you different choices for voices, voice styles, all kinds of fun things. But I hope you enjoyed that intro. And just so you know, I don't want this to get anything crazy or anything, but I am not sponsored by 11 Labs. I just use their product, and I know that there are people out there who listen to me who may want to podcast or already are podcasting and are looking for new things to help them with their podcast. I've talked about this before on my other podcast called Boomer Podcasting, which you can find at boomerpodcasting.com. There's only 6 or 7 of those out, and I got to a point where I was thinking, God, I've got to go to video on that. But anyways, hold on a second here, folks. Hey, welcome. I hope you're doing good today. Thank you so much for being here today. And now back to my little conversation. Oh, where was I? You know how it is that you get a little bit older in age. You forget where you were so quickly. But, no, I mean, I thought that I was going to have to go to video because I was going in sequence of what you do to start a podcast. And I've got a camera, my phone. And let's be honest, that camera on your phone, I don't know what kind of phone you got, doesn't really matter. Unless you're using an 8 or 9-year-old flip phone, the phone on your camera is really pretty good. It really is, and so I'm going to use that. I've also got a new webcam. Well, I can't say it's new. I've had it for about a year that I've considered using. I also have a digital video recorder, which I've considered using, and it's supposed to be 4K. But I just don't think it gives me the quality or the depth of the iPhone 15. And I'm working on a 15, folks. I'm not working on an iPhone 16. I'm working on an iPhone 15. I'm not a person who upgrades every time something new. Dog started barking for a second, so I had to pause. But where I was at is I'm not the type of person who changes every time something new comes out. Now, I like to be as up to date as I can, but Apple comes out with a brand new phone every year, and my gosh, folks, I use an iPhone. Mine is a 15 Pro Max, and it's the large one. So it's $1,000 phone. I'm not going to go out and buy a new $1,000 phone every time a new one comes out. So, if you're listening to me in the future and you don't know what year this is 2025. And that's the year they'll probably come out with a 17. And if they put a silicone chip in this one instead of Intel or whatever they're using for their chips, oh my God, it'll be an absolute game changer. Game changer, I swear it will be. And I'll get one, but not yet. I just got a brand new iPad M4 Pro Max, and it's doing all kinds of things for me. It's helping me run the business. Okay, I don't want to get bogged down in that, but hopefully it's exactly what I need to get this business up and running right. This Gray Hair Productions. I have been goofing around with it for way too long, folks. And I'm having to say this on here purposely because I need a push, and just having it out there in the universe, sometimes talking to people that are listening to me, is enough of a push for me to get my hiney in gear. Okay, and that's what's going to happen this year. All I got to do is have 2 or 3 customers, and I can call it quits in my job right now, and it'll make recovery so much easier on my foot. So that's the plan for me. That's the hope and the wish. Now, will that come true? Yes, because now I say it's going to come true, and I'm not one to lie. I'm going to make this work. So there's that. Okay. So I won't need a new one until 18 probably, but I'll get a 17 when it comes to the iPhones. I probably will. And I'm also looking at upgrading my computer soon. Do I need to? No. But if I start that video editing more, I'm really going to want to get a little bit more memory in the RAM section, portion of the computer. Now, I'm working off of a MacBook Air with an M1. And it's 5 years old. But it runs just like a champ. And I'm trying to decide over here, do I stick with the laptop or do I go keep this laptop and go out and buy a Mac Mini? And I know all I'm talking about is technology here today, folks, but that's what I want to talk about today. I like the computer. I like the keyboard on this. I like the keyboard on my Mac. And I would go out and get the MacBook, or not the Mac, but the Apple keypad, because I like their keyboards. Plus, I'd have to go out and get a trackpad. I use a mouse all the time, but I've really, really learned to enjoy the trackpad. On my Dell or any other laptop that I've had, and I've had quite a few over the years, really have. I've had a couple of Dells, Lenovo's. Oh man, I had a Sony once that was fantastic, but I never really found their trackpads to be as useful as the Apple trackpad. Just isn't. So I would have to have one of those. And I can't be mobile with a Mac Mini, where I can be with a MacBook or an Apple MacBook Pro with an M4 chip in it. Now, I could do all my business on my iPad if I was out and about. I can do some editing on there too. It's powerful enough to do it. It's powerful enough right now that it can run a couple of big programs. I could run GarageBand in there, or Logic Pro or Hindenburg, and put the monitor on there, my 34-inch monitor on there, and they would have no problem. It just is off it goes. And they call it rendering when you get ready to export your video, and they call it bouncing when it comes to audio. And Hindenburg is really, really fast because there's not a lot that I've done to it in Hindenburg. Hindenburg is my backup recorder. I've had to use it a couple times because sometimes I make drastic mistakes and I can't get it back. So I go to the Hindenburg, I download it into Logic Pro, and off I go. I'm started all over again. But, that's how I do things. So whatever I get, it's got to be able to do all that. Well, the Mac Mini can do that. And I can get it for a whole lot cheaper than I can get a MacBook Pro. Now, all the new Mac Minis are coming with 16 gigabytes of RAM. And I would, of course, have to have 512 gigabytes of hard drive storage. It's all in one chip with Apple. It's all the silicon chip. So anyways, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Just wanted to get it off my chest and let you know where I'm at. Real quick on politics. Yesterday, or the day before, was the current president of the United States 100th day in office. And they say that the very first 100 days are where you can get the most done in politics. The first 100 days of a president's term are the most important to get things done. And he's gotten a lot done. He was interviewed last night by a gentleman. I want to use a nice phrase here to cover this. A gentleman who I've never heard of before from ABC, who kept trying to trap him. It was fun to watch. I did watch it. And he about ended it a couple of times with this guy. But he didn't. He just didn't. And he's gotten a lot done. There's a lot of controversy going on. And some things may have to come back that he did. He's human. You can't do anything about that. He's a human being. He makes mistakes. So anyways, that's all I've got to say about politics this week. Here's something, though, that I found funny. I watched a little bit of the Pope's funeral on Saturday morning. And I found it interesting that everybody, every male I could see, that was not a bishop, a cardinal, or anything like that. They were all wearing black suits. There's the president of the United States sitting there in his usual blue suit with a white shirt and a red tie, sticking out like a sore thumb. But he's not there to make a fashion statement, folks. He's not there to blend in. That's not what this president does. So, like me or not, like my politics or not, that's as far as I'm going with politics today. So, anyway, I'm going to end it there. I'm just going to say this. If you got a concern, a question, or a comment, go to my website, 5minuteswithgrayhairdave.com. That's the number 5minuteswithgrayhairdave.com. You can also go to my website, boomerpodcasters.com. This podcast is sponsored by me, Gray Hair Dave, who owns Gray Hair Productions. So if you know somebody who's looking for video or audio editing, go to Gray Hair Productions and let's see if I can give you a hand. All right, go to the contact me page. Let me help you with this. And I will promise you good service, and I'll promise you a good product when we're done. Now, past the advertising. If you know somebody who doesn't know what a podcast is, doesn't know where to find one, what genre they can listen to, how to follow, subscribe, and all that fun stuff that has to go with podcasting, and tell them about mine. Tell them about this goofy guy who doesn't talk about the same thing twice, and have them listen. Do that for me if you would. Show them how to do it. Also, folks, please smile at somebody you don't know today. Whether it's that person behind the counter you're buying something from, your waitress, your bartender, or just your boss. Smile. Let them know you care. And they're going to turn right back around and smile at you, and that's going to make their day, going to make your day. So on behalf of Dave here at Gray Hair Productions, you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.